Welcome back, guys. Now, the best tactic for the Kfir is using its speed and acceleration. It's more of a supportive role aircraft, but, you know, it gets the job done. And it carries the AIM-9Gs and the AIM-9Ds, plus a sweet Defa. It carries twin Defas, which is quite neat. Because when you're trying to pull off shots like this with the AIM-9s, it doesn't work too well. You really need Pythons. So you just switch to the guns, pull the trigger, and boom. You can see right here with this F4F, who has a Vulcan, it still manages to connect without me taking too much damage. Now, in Sim, I'll typically use the AIM-9Gs because the guns, you need to be pretty close, but, you know, it's a last resort. Gs work absolutely amazing. You can see it just tracks, boom, he's dead. And then right here, you can see its maneuverability causes him to overshoot. And I'm carrying the big Vulcan pods, so this thing's still maneuverable with those. And then I lock him up, and Fox 2. And the missile still catches him. He's way faster than me, within a mile, and gets hit. And it's pretty good. It's actually a very durable aircraft too, because you can see it just ram this guy, and it's still up. And then you know, I kill him. Now this F5. Now we all know how F5s work. They are very, very durable for some odd reason. Very small aircraft. I don't know why they're so durable, but you can see I hit him with 30s. Gets a critical. He gets on my 6. I just climb because this thing has amazing acceleration and speed, and then I dive back down on him. And I lock a missile and launch, and you can see that it's not too bad at close quarters, and still the F5 doesn't die because, well, yeah, they must be on bath salts or something. Now, the armaments of this thing is Python series missiles, which are quite neat, but Gaijin has not added them to the game yet. They also carried the Kfir 2s, which were not all aspect. Pythons were, though, so that's probably why they're not in game. But I don't know why they didn't add the Kfir 2s. That's a little weird. Needless to say, I'm sure Gaijin will add them in the future. And right here you can see I get a gun kill. They're a little weird to aim with the sight in this, since it doesn't actually track like it would in a aircraft lead indicator. So you kind of have to just guess or bring tracers, which that's not that good in Sim. It's best to use stealth rounds. Now in RB, it doesn't really matter. You can see how far these missiles could go. That MiG is running and still manages to get hit by the AIM-9G. It's absolutely amazing. One thing I will say about this aircraft is it excels when you're in a 1v1 or if your team is winning, but if two enemy aircraft get into the situation, it could be a little hard because they're going to make you bleed your aircraft and it's going to start getting slow. So I highly suggest playing passive with this aircraft and trying not to bleed all your speed and staying above Mach when you're looking for targets, because this thing could be caught off guard, especially if there's two enemy aircraft. Pretty much screwed. But other than that, I mean, the radar is lackluster, especially for Sim. RB, it doesn't matter because it kind of slews the sight to a target automatically, so it'll slew your AIM-9s sometimes to the target your aircraft is locking, because the lock is actually automatic, which is pretty cool. But in Sim, it just does not work. And you can see here, when you get hit, the aircraft just bleeds all of its speed. And, you know, you turn into a sitting duck. The second an inch of your aircraft is scraped, the paint comes off, and the aircraft just drops out of the sky. I guess that's a given with most aircraft like this besides the F5. That thing could take an 120mm APFS DS to the face plus ATGM and or SAM, and the thing will still be flying in the air like nothing happened, because that's historically how the F5E worked. You know, the second you shoot it, it doesn't die because balance and realism. But then you can see right here, just launch it, it tracks them no problem. Right here, I launch at long range, and the missile seems to track, and I'm like, it's probably not gonna hit, but you know, you never know. So I start focusing on the MiG-23 because he's a little further out and perhaps I can get a better angle, and as I do that, the aircraft dies. And then they launch a missile on me, dump a couple flares, veers off because this thing has a low IR signature because it's a fairly small aircraft. You can see the other guy died too, so it's absolutely amazing. And in Sim, it's pretty much the same thing. You can launch at long range, the missile will track, hit them, and they'll be dead. It's a pretty good missile, I'm not gonna lie, but I do prefer the Pythons because those are all aspect and they pull a lot more Gs. But for now, this will work until the meta changes. Another thing I'd like to say is the radar, of course, it slews to your target, but I would still prefer your traditional radar. Sadly, this thing had a radar like this in real life, so this will not be changing anytime soon as far as I'm concerned. Correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this had a radar or a navigation radar. I don't think this actually got a full physical radar. I could be wrong though. Please tell me in the comments down below, because I'd like to know. But you can see it catches up to this guy, no problem. He's dead. And it's a very, very good aircraft. So if you're thinking about getting a new Mirage, I definitely think this is something to take a gander at because, well, it's the only Mirage that carries 4 AIM-9s, and it's the only Mirage to carry AIM-9s currently. But I'm sure that'll change in the future. I'm pretty sure this thing's going to get Pythons in the future, which I really hope it does because the Python missiles are so nice looking. But, you know, currently all we got is a 9J, so we'll have to cope with that. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of the aircraft, but, you know, it's a new Mirage, so it's pretty cool. I think when it gets its Pythons, I'll be a lot more happy with it. But, yeah, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and take care, guys.